Hello, today I'm in the Congress of the Society for Ethnobotany in Prague. It's a big international event. And one of the guests is Professor Edelmira Linares from Mexico City. What is your institution?
UNAM, the National Autonomous University of Mexico.
And yesterday we were looking at edible plants, and Professor Linares mentioned because in Europe we have Prunus serotina, the choke cherry, which is very invasive in Poland and other countries in Northern and Central Europe. And she mentions it's widely eaten in Mexico. It's called
Capulin.
capulin. And it occurs everywhere in Mexico?
Yes,
And
it's grown in the most of the country because come from the states, from Canada to Central America.
okay.
And then it's grown in mountains, and we have a lot of mountains in Mexico. But in central part of Mexico has been selected, and we have 3 varieties.
So people grow it,
Grow it.
but only in central part, or is everywhere?
Everywhere, but the most in central part. They grow it in gardens, in milpas, where in the cornfields,
Okay.
and in many places because they like the fruit.
Okay.
And the fruit, well, I also like it. Like the fruit is very sweet. There's some studies showing that the people has been domesticated this plant. So we have 3 varieties in Mexico, and one, the most edible one, is Prunus serotina, variedad capuli.
Capuli.
Capuli. And capuli, it's an Nahuatl name, an old name, that means cherry.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then the people select the trees. If this tree is not good, it's cut off.
Okay.
And then they maintain another one that has a bigger fruit. And in central part of Mexico, especially in the state of Tlaxcala and Puebla, they use it for roasted the seed and eat it the embryo.
This is amazing. So they roast the seed, yeah?
Yes.
But the whole seed, or don't need the inside?
No, the whole seed.
The whole seed, okay.
I want to tell you how. So it's most important the seed than the fruit, the whole fruit.
Okay.
So if they eat a whole fruit, they keep the seed, or sometimes they wash it,
Okay.
the fruit, and only keep the seed.
Amazing.
And the seed, when it's, they dry the seed, and when they are use the seed, they wash it again, and they dry it again, and they roast it in the place where we make tortillas. So it's called
Okay.
the comal. And it's roasted and roasted and roasted like that, and then it takes, when it's hot, and put it in a plate with salt
Okay.
and water, and mix it, and then roast it again.
How long do you keep it in with salt?
Like half an hour.
Half an hour, okay.
It's
Soak
enough.
it. Like soak it, okay.
It's enough because you eat the seed, and the seed is salty.
Okay.
And then you broke the seed, and you eat inside. Because it's poisonous. If you don't do that, it's
Okay.
poisonous. So you have to roast it very well.
And you roast it very well, and you eat inside. So you open it, you crack it with your teeth, or
With the teeth.
with the
Or
teeth
with
maybe?
a stone or whatever.
With a stone, you eat
but
inside.
they put
yeah.
the salt because you crack it with your teeth.
Okay, amazing, amazing. It's good news for Polish people because it's very invasive in Poland. So now we're gonna collect it and crack it and eat the inside.
Good. And also we prepare some tamales from the fruit. So we collect the fruit.
Maybe explain what is tamales because a lot of people don't know what's tamales.
Yes, I will explain. So we collect the fruit. We boil it with sugar,
Okay.
but not too much because in that case is shredded. So we want the fruit, the whole fruit, is boiled with sugar and cinnamon. And
Okay.
then apart we prepared the dough that is made in this case from the ¿cómo se dice harina? Ay, Dios mío.
The flour of
The rice flour.
rice flour. Okay.
In this case, the rice flour, because they are floppy and very white.
Okay.
And then you put a spoon of dough, and then a spoon of the capulines, of the
Okay.
fruit, and then you close it in
Maize leaf or
maize leaf,
in maize leaf?
in
Okay.
maize leaf. Yes,
Okay.
and you cook it for a while in
Okay.
vapor. In vapor.
So it's a bit like Polish gołąbki, like sarma, but you use the maize leaf and the sweet filling, the sweet tamara.
Filling.
Sweet tamara.
So it's very good for breakfast or
Okay.
at night, and or as a dessert as well.
And second question, because you are well known as the researcher who studied quelites, which is wild vegetables in Mexico,
Yes.
in the whole of the country. What is the typical recipe how people make wild vegetables in Mexico?
Well, first I would like to explain what is a quelite, if you don't mind, because it has to be a tender vegetable.
Tender, very soft.
Very
yeah.
soft, tender. Could be the part of the tree, but the first
Buds.
thoughts, flowers.
Yeah.
And then that is quelite. And then the main recipe for the most of the quelites are called al vaporcito.
Al vaporcito.
So we use in the several communities they use lard. Normally they use as well oil, different kinds of oil, avocado oil, for example, and we put a little bit of onion. We fry the onion. If you like garlic as well, you can put some garlic as well. And then when they are citron, translucent.
Lemon, lime.
No, citron. When the onion is translucent,
Yes.
we call them a citronada.
Okay.
Yes, and then you wash your quelites, and then you put everything and you cover.
Okay.
But in some cases, in some quelites like Portulaca oleracea that we call verdolaga, we scald it first. We put
Okay.
it in the hot water because it has some antinutricionales.
Okay. So some things you put straight into frying, and some you first put in hot water and maybe boil, or just put in hot water?
No, in hot water,
Okay.
boil it for 1 minute
Okay.
and strain it, and
Okay.
then we do the same process.
And which other things you would boil?
Well, mainly that one and Chenopodium,
Portulaca, Hinopodium.
Chenopodium album, as we saw
Okay.
yesterday, or Chenopodium murale, whatever.
Okay.
And then because it says it has a kind of wax
Yeah.
that
Unpleasant taste.
unpleasant taste, that texture.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
in that way, you take that away, you crush them, take the water away, and then you do the same thing.
And do you use chili peppers in curry?
Of course.
And
But
lime, lime.
in the table,
Okay.
you have tortillas, corn
Okay.
tortillas. You have the sauce
Okay.
with chili peppers, tomato,
Okay.
garlic, and onion or whatever.
Okay.
And then you have lime.
Okay. Lime.
And then in one hand you have your quelites, you make your taco in tortilla,
Okay.
and you put your salsa or your lime from the table.
And do people still eat quelites? Is
A
it still
lot,
common?
a
A lot,
lot.
yeah. What about the cities?
Well, we have been working in the cities hard
Okay.
to improve the use of quelites because the
Okay.
people in the country said, if they don't buy the quelites, I won't plant them.
Yeah.
And so we have to improve the knowledge about quelites in the way that they
Okay.
still cultivate them.
Okay. What is the origin of the name quelite?
Quelite comes from the Nahuatl.
Okay,
That
Nahuatl
means-
language, yeah.
That means tender vegetable, edible
Okay.
vegetable.
Thank you very much. Thank you
You're
for your work
welcome.
in Mexico.
It has been very nice to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you.